Okay, great. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I got told when we were off air that sometimes the LinkedIn Live gremlins has been a bit tricky to work with over the last few weeks. So we're going to give it a minute or two and make sure we're connected. But if you are on, thanks for joining. If you're on a recording, thanks for watching in the future. And yeah, my name's Luke Marshall. Most people call me Marsh. Essentially a growth marketer by trade, last 20 years. And unless you've been hiding under a rock, I'd say digital marketing, growth marketing has changed a lot in 20 years. And more recently, over the last three or so, with AI. And so a term that sort of sprung out of vibe coding, and probably not as popular as that term, but definitely up there, is vibe marketing. I'm a practitioner and operator, so I practice what I preach, and wanted to just share with the ANZ audience in particular, what vibe marketing looks like, why it's sort of what future state will look like, and essentially how you can do it as a practitioner, live. I've got some notes on my screen about things I'm going to try and vibe market with a timer. I'll talk through the logic and things that come up. I've done my best to hide and protect against any confidential information being shared. I think we'll be okay, but apologies in advance if I freak out. And things will definitely go wrong. Like, this is a new way of doing things, and yeah, maybe with that in mind, instead of just talking about it conceptually, I'll just start doing it and let you guys see and judge for yourselves. So we'll switch and share one of my screens on here, and what we've got is a list I just basically knocked out this morning, which was, these are things that have been on the to-do list for a little while, and because we're setting up a new marketing recruitment function, marketing has definitely fallen by the wayside in terms of my remit, in favor of business development. But these are things that I've wanted to do and thought, what better time to do them than under the pressure of a 25-minute timer, and just knock them out for demonstration and learning purposes. So today, we went through and updated the Pointer website earlier in the year, replaced Webflow with a Claude Code instance. Definitely not without its challenges, but I'd say overall now it's very clear the end result was much worth it. But one of the challenges we had with this website, and I may as well show it to you guys because we're going to be working. We got things looking really well, and got logos and some highlights, and it looks definitely vibe coded if you know what to look for. But there's no illustrations, like there's no pretty pictures. And Pointer, is based off a dog that a pointer style dog or hound. I forget the name of the exact dog, but Ricky's dog is a beautiful dog, and we've got this pointer mascot that's not there currently that we want to fix. Pointer's content strategy, we're all pretty, I would say, advanced sort of LinkedIners, but there's always more you can improve. So I'll see what we can do on that front. And then we know on the sign up page on this website, the CRO on the sign up could be better. And so, this is actually quite a lot of work in days gone by, and probably quite a lot of work in present day as well. Like, there's a reason I haven't done these things, because they're time consuming. But with vibe marketing, apart from being able to do things in a different way, you can also bash through certain things quite quickly and do it with a feedback loop. And so, I'm going to be jumping around and talking through the logic. There's a good chance I might lose some of the audience, or not. There'll be things that don't make sense. And that's fine. We'll help you afterwards, or with the Q&A. But essentially, this is Claude Code, and it might look a little different to your Claude Code. It looks a bit different for a lot of people. This version of Claude Code that I've got up is the agents window, and so these are various goals that I can set. And I might just make it, bring up my list here. And so I'll just set a goal, right? And I'll just talk through what I'm trying to do. I'm in charge of Pointer's website. We're pretty happy with how it looks and the positioning and the like, but we've realized that it has no mascot, the Pointer mascot. So I've got the Pointer image creator now that's set up to do these things. And essentially on our core pages, I want to run a review and have some suggested illustrations appear for the core pages that could complement the existing website layout without needing to change copy. quite happy to change structure, even enhances with visuals in the pointer mascot. So for a first pass, can I get some pitched concepts for what this could look like on the page? And if I give feedback and okay them, you can move to staging and then deployment. And so you might be looking at that and thinking, oh, Marshy's talking to himself. No, I'm not very good at it when I'm not demoing, but I've just set a goal there with a tool called SuperWhisper. The logic with these voice to transcription tools is it's much faster than typing. And, by and large it is. For me, as an old fart who was, doing things on a 2/8, it's taking adjustment to remember to use it, but it's a work in progress. And like everything, AI is a work in progress. So what I might do is make this a bit bigger now. And I've set the goal. I don't need to steer this, and it's on auto mode, so it can just figure these things out. But what I might just type here. Ooh, something did go wrong. Ah, excellent. Spawning. Let's have a look. See that last minute check there? I did it just before. Oh no, we're good. So I must have typed something wrong. Rename to website illustrations. Cool, great. So that's the first task underway. We'll do a time check. All right, looking good. So next one is kind of vague here, and this, let's see if we can do it. So the background and context on this is, I'll just announce it actually. Let's just go voice mode. So currently, the Pointer team posts, 3 to 5 times a week in their various LinkedIn channels, and we want to make it a bit easier to come up with concepts and new post ideas based off in-market conversations that we're having. So one way we can do this is we want to look at our HubSpot conversation transcripts. I think these are chats, and essentially anonymize any identifying features, but look for patterns, themes, and interesting talking points that might make sense to feed into a LinkedIn post to attract both talent and new businesses to work with. So I don't really know what I'm looking for beyond that, but can you check, say, whether you can access those conversations via HubSpot, pass it through, say, Luke Marshall's LinkedIn posting style, say last 90 days, and pitch 3 to 5 concepts that might make good talking points, for LinkedIn posts in the future. And if this works, we can turn it into a skill we can share with the team. So that was so long that it's gone pasted text. That's fine. So you would have got the gist of that. Some of these things that I'm doing, I've got pre-set up connections to tools that enable this, like obviously HubSpot, but also our website. With the goal feature, this was sort of, this is Anthropic's version of the auto research tool. You do not need to use a Git and then ingest it and set these complicated things like I've seen some influencers do. With goals, you can literally just ask for what you want. Ideally, give it a win condition. So what a final result looks like a number or an outcome. And then it will just work out the rest, fueled by Opus 4.8 credits. And so I might rename this one as well, LI post inspiration. And I can see some issues here. Yeah, the call transcripts, chat conversation, it may not have access to this. And so we'll see. But it's a problem that it can work out. Like we do have it connected to HubSpot API. I actually haven't checked if the chats are a fair game there. So we'll learn as we go. So let's do a time check. Yeah, am I sweating bullets yet? It's not bad. So run CRO analysis on our sign up page. I think I left this one last because it's hard. I don't know what's going to happen. But CRO stands for conversion rate optimization. And because we're very happy with our website, conversion rate on this one is essentially, book a discovery call. Like that's the call to action. It looks neat and pretty. And I've had this hunch that a form of this magnitude with 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 or so different fields, there is a chance that, and we might even like getting to this section and then just bouncing off. I'm just going to the developer because they get here, they have to scroll down. There's a welcome, thanks for joining, to visit this. And so my hunch is that from a CRO perspective, there's improvements that can be done here. So let's just give that a goal as well. Hey, sounds good. I have a hunch that our core conversion or call to action on the Pointer website is suboptimal. We have a sign up form with 7 or 8 fields and want to track if there's better ways to drive more effective conversions. In this case, signups from interested prospects. There should be some Google Analytics data that can help inform this and some Google Console data, Search Console data. And we've also got API access to PostHog that we set up, although it's a free version. So I'm not sure how much or how little of the recordings or session recordings can be seen. The goal for this is to basically get a benchmark, current conversion rate, and then suggest some optimizations that could be made based off the data you gather to improve this conversion. Go for it. Cool. So that one is now underway. And like the other, bit too fast, am I? Let's go back. Like the other goals. And what? Okay, this is playing funny buggers in this one. And Opus. I may have crashed Opus, but we'll find out. Yeah, cool. Okay, so it's working its thing. To get back to the other goals, I just hit left, and now we can see the goals here that I've got. I want to rename this one to CRO. Cool. Now, CRO is its own like discipline. It usually only works with high traffic websites. The technical work involved in CRO, it's a multi-hyphenate digital marketer specialist skill that relies on copywriting, design, positioning, code. Like there's so many things you can do with CRO. And we're just telling Opus, I just want solutions, not problems. So what I'm going to do next is do a time check. We're about 13 minutes in. And what I'm seeing on my screen here is these 3 tasks working. And you notice, or you may have noticed that it's asked for no input to this time. So to this point. So I'm like, just sort of waiting. And rather than spend the next 30 minutes of this demo checking in, what I like to do on task, particularly when I'm a bit impatient, is go and see what's happening within. And what Claude Code does is give you different commentary as it works on the task or goal. And so, it's talking about the mascot library that we've got created, and it says it's excellent. Well, thank you. And it seems like it's going through different parts of the page and creating some mock-ups, which is what I asked for, and pure white on transparent alpha, which kind of makes sense because transparent is, we just want to see how it's overlaid. It seems like it's on track. So I'm just going to let it keep doing its thing there. The LinkedIn, okay, so yeah, no conversations read. Okay, but it can read the call summaries, which isn't quite as good as the exact transcripts, but I'm actually pretty okay with it going off the summaries, because if something's a trend, it's going to appear in more than one summary. And we can always enrich this with transcripts later if we feel like it's giving me less than satisfactory data. It's got stuff saying, look, personal Dropbox, that's fine. It's going to pull the call summaries into a local staging file. So that's just a temporary thing that's happening. And in the meantime, I did not tell it here, but it's spun up a sub-agent that's grabbing my recent LinkedIn posts as well, because I asked for that to get towards its goal. So that seems like it's on track as well. I'll just do a time check. Yeah, cool. I'm not sure if they'll get through all this, but I suspect it will, based off previous things I've done. And now I'm just going to go to the CRO, which was the latest one, and check on this one. So it's benchmarking pointer sign up form conversion. We don't have a huge amount of signups via the sign up page, by the way. In fact, with a marketing perspective, generally speaking, it's lower quality referrals or leads, because if someone's want to work at Pointer, they'll just talk to us on LinkedIn or call us. There's other ways to get in touch. Having said that, it's still something we want to fix. And so it sounds like it has the Google Analytics 4 property. Great. I hate looking at GA4. I used to be a fan of Universal Analytics. It's got Google Site Console, Search Console access, which is fantastic. And then PostHog, it's got that too. So it seems to be doing what I've asked it to, and it's set up on auto mode as well. Because I'm in alt 10 read cleanly, I have a complete concept. Now let's review Pete. It's going to deliver the thing for me to feed back on, which in a reviewable PDF doc, a deck, and a written concept doc. So yeah, I can see a little background noise. Definitely don't want that. So that seems to be all clear as well. Funnily enough, I used to work in an agency, and this is how you'd present the initial stuff to the client. You'd come up with your concepts, your strategy, your mocks, and then present it in a PDF as well. And so while all this stuff is happening, I'm just going to share something that we've been investigating at Pointer as a bit of I guess, a proof of concept as well. Using this same tooling, I asked for a presentation or a deep dive on essentially any small global recruitment agencies similar to us, like, but not necessarily our category or niche, that were advertising. And the reason I wanted this information is because our suspicion is it's actually quite hard to advertise a small recruitment agency and get a return on investment. So my brief to the agent was similar to what I've shared with you today, asking about what the offer is, what kind of audiences they're going after, any data that powers it, and the unit economics, like, can it run at a positive ROI? So what it did is scrape the meta ad library. One of the tools that I rave a lot about, if you've seen any of my previous presentations, is a tool called Apify. It's asked me to log in, running in a different tool. May as well bring up the Apify is essentially a grey market tool that gives you access to various data sets like LinkedIn, Apollo. There's different actors you can run, web scraping, et cetera, that as a non-technical operator, like by non-developer, I'm definitely technical, it would be very hard to write JavaScript that would pull all this information. But with Claude Code, you can now get code to run that tooling and generate reports like this. And this is how I was able to get the meta ad library. I'll just do a time check as well. Yeah, I think we're on track, and I'll just have a look at this. It's all going. So yeah, let's talk through the report for a second. So yeah, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Yeah, 5,500 live ads, 19 deep dives. Cool. So this is what the recruitment ads look like. Cool. Very many clearly profit. I wasn't expecting that. One of the proxies we use for figuring this out is if an ad's been running for a long period of time, and 927 days is extreme, it won't be running for that long unless it's working. So that's really useful for us. There's two different kinds of businesses here. Candidate acquisition, so just getting candidates, which sort of makes sense. But from a business owner perspective, the client acquisition's the game. So advertise to employers. Specificity is the number one lever. So across all the ads it's seen, being super specific is much better. Not much information on the data here. And that's to be expected. Like, we're scraping here, we can't expect. It seems like, so they keep ads small and evergreen instead of scaling. All right, cool. And so the other bit I was interested in is what kind of offer are they making to the market that would help us? And it's come up with 6 different kinds of offers. So evergreen branding, this would make sense. Like, from any kind of advertiser perspective, this makes sense as well. High volume, not our game, but I can see why that would work from an advertising perspective. Data-driven quiz, VSL funnels. This absolutely works in other segments. So it's interesting. I'll want more specificity on this for future. Micro agency, I have seen this, but I don't think this is, we're not a micro or super niche. So offshore, we're not that either. Agency enablement. Yeah, I guess we've got a lot of enablement materials. So, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes, and strategically, this one, and this is market intelligence that is super useful to us. So I might read the rest of the report and do the time check here. Okay, so yeah, we're running low at time. But what I've noticed with these goals is that sometimes it has done stuff even though it's still working. So in this case, deck is polished, great. Write markdown and save to this week's notes. Okay, so saving it to the folder now. This will probably be a question. I run Claude Code from a virtual machine. So what this means is if this dies, like my computer dies, it'll still run on the server. And the reason why I have this piped to a folder that's on my computer is I can throw work in and out from this. And so, this is now saved, or seems to be saving to the latest weekly notes. So I'll bring it up in a sec. Yeah, so we've got answers on this. I think one annoying. Oh no, okay, we can scroll. So let's have a look at what it's. Okay, so AI broke the resume, so now I make people turn the camera on. Kind of hate. I can really because I'm sort of live and breathe this stuff. I can tell when shit's written by AI. One of my bits of feedback to this would give us inspiration and themes and more bullet points than the actual copy itself, but yeah, that's fine. I think that could be hitting your number won't save your job. Yeah, okay, like a bit of scare tactics. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, I like this one. And we talk about this a lot actually. Where's the salary band? Yeah. So this one, your shortlist isn't ghosting you, your salary band is. Like the best candidates want to know the number. So don't bloody hide it or make it a crappy band. Just be honest. It really saves everyone time. Yeah, so a bit generic here, but you can add some specificity. I'm pretty happy with that as a start. And what I would do here is just give it more feedback of what useful output would look like here. Just do a time check. I feel like, if you've ever seen the show 20, I feel like Jack Bauer, except that instead of it being 24 hours, the countdown's happening. So let's look at the website illustrations. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's saved. I'll just see if I can pull it over. Okay, cool. Okay, so the website concepts. First thing I noticed, and this is from previous work, the navy blue instead of black, which is, we can fix that with feedback, but this is from previous work that we were doing. There's the original mascots. Hey, cool. So, this is sort of the dog as a, rough mock. I get what they're trying to do here. I definitely want the sizing to be different, and I probably want the angle to be like hit and him pointing across, but I love that as a concept. I don't mind the confident one either. Like that's pretty cool. The numbers one might be work on a sub page. Just do a time check. Go faster, Marshy. I like this, the consideration on the how we used outbound. Yeah, like clearly they're mocks, so then they're overlapping every minute. These are kind of good. So I think the line style might be a little bit different, but we could have a pop up with the newsletter sign up, for example. Okay, there's a different concept in the background. It's a bit more subtle. I don't hate it. And then it's telling me what to do. Well, I'll tell you what to do, AI. Cool. So I'm pretty happy with that as a result, as a first pass. And it seems to be as well. Pro wise, I'm just going to have a look. Okay, so it's giving me a fairly interesting report. Okay, so silent validation. So yeah, okay. Looks like we've had 48 submit clicks. So people completing the form, but 23 completions. So there's some rage clicking here. Whoops. So that's something that we can absolutely fix. And it looks like it's half our leads. So I want some more info there, but the form is too long for the audience. I agree. Yeah, we can just get a LinkedIn profile, for example, and know what to do. Yeah, okay, I agree with that too. Mobile first rebuild, 100%. That's very important. Move the form up. Yep. Yeah. Like all of this is stuff I've wanted to do and I haven't got the time. So I'm not going to give it feedback because that's weird. Like good work, but this is a great start. Like we can action this and I will with my voice. That's how the vibe marketing works. And so the website illustrations, it seems like it's doing just for the last check before you open up Q&A. Yeah, it's basically finished. So bang on time. So yeah, that's vibe marketing in action. Yeah, I'm very curious if anyone was watching the whole thing. If you have, thank you. More than happy to answer questions now because I don't know what is assumed knowledge and what is like sorcery here. And I'd just love to hear from anyone if it raised any questions either now on the call. I'm happy to answer them, or I'm happy to answer, off channel if you're shy, for example. Ricky, how is that? Any live feedback?
No one's popped any questions in. From my perspective, like, you know me, I love this stuff. And what I love most about the way we've built out is if we liked any of those recommendations, we could just go and say, actually, yeah, I really like your recommendation number 3. Will you implement that? And that's the last you have to say. And it will just go and move it above the fold or, decide which fields to take out of the form. So this whole process, like if you added on another 25 minutes, you could actually implement quite a fair chunk of this, which is what's pretty wild.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I think actually wrote a bit about this last night as well. I think the challenge now isn't technical limitation or even capability or costs. Like a business like ours absolutely can afford the tokens. For me, the challenge I'm solving for now is, am I focusing on the right thing right now that needs to be done? And I said, at the start, BD is absolutely a core focus for me, and rightfully so. But focusing on the right thing and just getting better at filtering, I think is going to be an ever increasingly important skill here. And it's clear the capabilities are here now. And, you know, it's fun to do and sort of under some time pressure. I'm kind of proud of the fact it was like down to the second, like that wasn't planned. It just sort of happened that way. But yeah, no, if this has elicited any feedback for our clients, one of the things we're bullish on is hiring for AI forward growth specialists and marketers. So get in touch if you want some vetting on these kind of talent. We clearly know what we're talking about. And otherwise, look, thanks for your time and attention today. There's no live questions.
Wait, we got one question popped up right in the depth. How complex is the setup for non-tech leaders?
Yeah, it's complex. Like, no question. I don't sugarcoat this. I don't prototype like the demos that we see from the hype bros on LinkedIn are very staged. So I'll just talk through it in broad strokes and then give you a place to start. Essentially, what you need to do is set up some tooling to host Claude Code. I do it on a server, but you can do it locally if you have to. And then you plug in different software. And so this software needs to be secure. So, you know, because you're using variables and environment stuff and API keys and the like. I store it in a password manager. You can also store it locally in a folder that's hidden. And then the simplest part is actually asking Claude Code to do the things. And so I've set up my architecture in a way that when I ask for something, it learns over time and moves towards workflows instead of just doing it as an agent every time, because that creates much more hallucination. But that's the nuts and bolts of it in a nutshell. But if acronyms like API, server, virtual machine give you heebie-jeebies, this isn't the play for you. Robbie Ryan, who's a friend, she does a lot of sessions on Claude Cowork, which does some of these things as well, but in a much more user-friendly way. But my pushback on that is this is the direction things are going in. It is well worth your time trying to learn Terminal and Claude Code, because while it's painful at the start, the rewards you can get are, you know, magnificent. Like what I just showed, I'm a seasoned, you know, practitioner, but I would have to brief agencies, people, et cetera, as little as 3-4 years ago to do all those things. And it's happened in 25 minutes. That would take weeks in old time. So yeah, the rewards are there. And I kind of hate it as well. Like, you know, the tech bros and the high concentrations of power and the like, but I can't fight that. So I may as well learn it and apply it and use it to advantage as a business owner and practitioner for my clients. So hopefully that answers your question in an honest way. And if you have any follow-up questions, whoever that was, more than happy to sort of help offline.
Well, it happened to be Robbie Ryan who asked the question, and she got the shout out just by happenstance. There we go. Thank you everyone for joining. Marshy, thank you as always. Unbelievable what can be achieved. And equally, if that's what you can do in 30 minutes, like let's hope that everyone who's watching this, who employs the marketing team, is thinking, what more can my team be doing? Because one person can certainly achieve what 10 used to not so long ago.
Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, everyone.